Blanked this girl for an hour and 45 seconds last night. Thanks, daylight savings.
Curves on women are nice, but curves on final exams are better.
I knew I was blanked when that Asian guy sitting next to me said blank during that exam.
The previous quotes were some examples of posts on the social media site Yik Yak. Yik Yak is a controversial social media app that allows users to post anonymously. It is very popular around college campuses and is growing in popularity in high school areas. Many have argued that Yik Yak is too vulgar, while some praise its ability for free speech.
Yik Yak is a relatively new social media platform. It was created in 2013 by Tyler Droll and Brooks Buffington, two recent graduates from Furman University in South Carolina. Both gave up their intentions to go to grad school to work on Yik Yak full-time when they received funding from Atlanta Ventures in Atlanta, Georgia. The app increased in popularity very quickly, and only a year later, the app was being used at over 1,000 college campuses and countless towns and cities worldwide.
Yik Yak is a location-based site. A user can post anonymously, and anyone within a 1.5-mile radius using Yik Yak sees the post. The user has the ability to post on other people's yaks. However, the main function of the app involves upping and downing posts. Popular posts stay on the app for a longer time, while unliked posts get deleted after a couple hours.
So if you are scrolling and you see something that, I guess if you think it's funny, if you agree with it, some of them are truthful, then you can up it, and people really, I guess you compete, you try to get your self-worth. Worth is dependent on how many ups you get.
Social media has always been in the center of controversy because of its correlation with topics like bullying and its effects on kids' behavior. Many people have expressed their opinions about the topic through various forms of media. Recently, Yik Yak has come to the forefront of controversy because of its anonymous feature. Thanks to this aspect, people are able to post whatever they want, however offensive or untrue, with practically no consequences. Since the commenter is unknown, Yik Yak has become a platform for negative commentary leading to cyberbullying, prejudice, and even multiple false threats of violence. These threats have even occurred at Penn State University's University Park and Berks County campuses. Due to this kind of conduct, Yik Yak has been banned from many schools around the United States.
I went to a pretty small school, and people would use Yik Yak to name things that people did, and I know there were a lot of hurt feelings through that.
And it's really the anonymous aspect that brings people to it, because otherwise it's pretty similar to Twitter.
I like that it allows people to connect when they're in the same place, and it really does bring people together sometimes.
What I don't like is the fact that because it is anonymous, it allows people to be very blunt in a disrespectful manner and overtly sexual as well, which I don't appreciate.
I don't think it's too vulgar. I think it's just an acceptable thing that students just use to pass spare time.
I think that their yaks would greatly differ from like their Facebook posts or their tweets, but just because there's no name attached to it.
Although it can be extremely offensive, many people still use it. We posted a survey on Facebook, and based on the information we gathered, Yik Yak is very prevalent at Penn State.
When I've got to spare a couple minutes, I like to go on Yik Yak and just look at the hot column and see anything that's really funny.
133 people responded to the survey, and 76% claim to currently use the app, 16% did in the past but don't anymore, and 8% have never used it. Out of those people who do use it, over 61% of them check it more than a couple times a day.
Since people check it so often, Yik Yak has become a great way to spread information and opinions to the Penn State community. For example, when the Big Ten Conference announced its plans to lift sanctions on PSU's bowl ban, a rally was organized through Twitter and Yik Yak, in which hundreds of students wore white and came together on Old Main to celebrate. This is a positive reaction to the app.
However, there have been some negative reactions as well. As mentioned before, there was a bomb threat on the Berks campus and a mass shooting threat on the University Park campus this October. The police had no option but to respond to the posts very seriously, and both resulted in students being arrested.
The fact that Yik Yak gave someone a platform to make an anonymous threat is kind of scary.
Another negative reaction was a large amount of racism and bullying that occurred on Yik Yak following the peaceful protests organized to spread awareness about the events that took place in Ferguson, Missouri. It went so far that Penn State's vice president emailed students to criticize students' commentary.
In terms of the Ferguson protests that have been on campus, there have been a lot of disrespectful and borderline racist comments on Yik Yak, and I think that because it is an anonymous platform, people can say whatever they wish without having to take responsibility for it.
I know the rally thing was oriented and that was a positive thing or a negative thing. You can look at it either way, but it was something that brought Penn State students together. So it definitely has grounds to mobilize people and get people to do certain things, like stay away from the hub at 12 o'clock on that one Monday, whatever it was, and get the one student in trouble for saying an idle threat.
Overall, Yik Yak has had a negative effect on our society, just because it's been taken too far in a lot of disrespectful ways.
Not having a name attached to what you say, I think, brings out a worse side of people.
According to PsychCentral.com, disinhibition on the internet is not defined as flaming or hostile communication, but rather is seen as any behavior that is characterized by an apparent reduction in concerns for self-presentation and the judgment of others. This idea has been present ever since the creation of the internet. However, because of the anonymity of Yik Yak, this principle has escalated to a whole new level.
Although Yik Yak can be extremely harmful and offensive, as demonstrated by the first few posts and threats by students, it can also be useful and encouraging, as shown when it brought Penn State together as a community when the sanctions were lifted. There are two sides to every controversy, and Yik Yak is no exception. Here are some positive posts we would like to share from Yik Yak.
Me. I really can't stay. Bed. But baby, it's cold outside.
Calls TA over during physics exam. Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formioli.
Huge turn on when people smell good and are hot, sometimes spicy, wrapped in tinfoil, are actually burritos.